Hey guys, it's time for another video on things we are cooking up during this quarantine. So today we did something a little bit different. We still have food, but we decided to pair that with an activity. So we love Star Wars, and so we decided to make some brownies, and we did it a little bit differently this time. We had a Darth Vader cake pan that we decided to use. And instead of putting cake in there, we decided to put our brownie mix in there. So check out our video to see how we did that. Okay, so the first part of this recipe, we are combining vanilla, butter, eggs, and coffee. And so we needed 1 tablespoon of vanilla, 1 tablespoon of coffee. And this coffee is already made coffee, so it's not like the coffee grinds. We needed 1 cup of melted butter, and then we needed 3 eggs. So we added those together. So next, they wanted us to add the sugars. So we had 1 cup of brown sugar and 1 cup of white sugar. So we added that to our mixture. Okay, so then they wanted us to add all-purpose flour, salt, and baking cocoa. So we needed 3/4 a cup of cocoa, 1 cup of flour, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And so we added that to our mixture. And just said to mix just until blended. So not to like continually mix it, but to mix it just until it was blended together. Okay, the next thing they wanted us to do was to add chocolate chips. So I'm going to tell you a funny story about these chocolate chips. So we've been doing a lot of our stuff on grocery pickup, delivery, anything that would allow us not to have to go out. And so we were doing a lot of Walmart grocery pickup, and they, for some reason, a couple of times did not have chocolate chips, and we've been making a lot of food that had chocolate chips in it. So we found out that we could order some stuff on Walmart.com and have it shipped to us. And so we've done that with chocolate chips in the past, and so we did it this past time, and the day they came, or I don't know if the truck was hot, but they were completely melted. And so we put them in the refrigerator, and they end up being more like chocolate chunks instead of chocolate chips, which is funny because the recipe does say toss in chocolate chips or chunks and fold into batter. So I thought that was kind of funny because we actually had chocolate chips, but they actually turned into chocolate chunks. Okay, so normally when we make brownies, the recipe tells us to put parchment paper down, and because this was a cake pan, I couldn't do that. So what I did was I just sprayed with our regular spray. I think it was canola oil spray from Walmart, and I sprayed that all over the pan to hopefully prevent it from sticking to the pan when we put the brownie mix in. Okay, so we poured the brownie batter into the cake pan, and we were told to bake it for about 30 minutes or until the center was done. So a couple of hints they had where you could shake the pan to see if the middle jiggled. It looked like the edges, were really full first and then the middle. But so it was about 30 minutes. I don't think we did longer than 30 minutes. And then the inside of the brownie was so chewy and delicious. It wasn't cakey. So if you like those kind of brownies, you might not like this recipe, but this was more of gooey and just delicious. Okay, so I was worried a little bit about if the brownies would be easy to get out of the pan, because normally when I make brownies I use parchment paper, and then I just lift the parchment paper out and then you can cut them. So I was a little bit worried. So I treated it like a cake pan, and I put parchment paper on this stone, and then I put it on top of the cake pan, and then I flipped it over, and it was beautiful. It came out just like a cake would, and so I was really, really excited. Then we decided to decorate it just a little bit because it's so dark, because it's chocolate. You really couldn't see a lot of decorations unless they were white. And because this was Darth Vader, he didn't really have white on him. And so I just kind of outlined a little bit of his eyes and the bottom part of his mask, and it looked kind of cute. Okay, so while we were making these brownies, or while we were waiting for them to bake, we decided to put together a Star Wars Lego set. And the one we chose was a New Hope Death Star cannon. Since we were doing Darth Vader brownies, we decided to do something from the Death Star. And so here is a time lapse of our Lego creation. Okay, well that's it for today's video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button to like it and subscribe, and let us know what other would you rather things you would like to see. We did have one this past week, or what other kind of videos you would like to see. So with that being said, you guys have a good week and be safe.
And that's a wrap.